Hello, and welcome back to the Fundamentals of Corporate Budgeting. In Chapter 19, we're talking about zero-based budgeting. Now, what is zero-based budgeting compared to more traditional budgeting? Well, in traditional budgeting, if you remember, we're looking at creating a forecast for what we're anticipating will happen in the future. And we're looking at exactly what we've done in the past, what changes we're going to make in the future. Well, in zero-based budgeting, we take a very different approach, because in zero-based budgeting, what we're focused on is not so much what we've done in the past, but what we need to use for the future. So all costs have to be justified on a line item by line item basis. Any costs that cannot be justified are automatically taken down to zero. This changes everything. It really requires us to think and look back at the best utilization of our resources. One of the big problems in traditional budgeting is the tendency to look at what we've used before and just add a certain margin for the growth without ever looking at whether or not we need to spend what we spent before. So this forces us to be more efficient and more effective in the use of our resources. In fact, in many cases with zero-based budgeting, we can actually produce more in the next period than we did in the last period, spending the same or even less, because what we're really effectively doing is eliminating waste. Very important. Let's talk about a couple of quick advantages of zero-based budgeting. It really forces us to efficiently allocate our resources. We always have a limited number of resources. So how can we get the best ROI, the best return on our investment for the resources we have, again, by looking at what we need to accomplish with the resources we have, not automatically increasing anything. Number two, it has an opportunity for us to look for and eliminate inflated budgets, budgets that are automatically increased because of, we look at last year, just add a margin for this year. And the third advantage is it really helps us identify and eliminate any processes or elements or factors in the company that are wasteful or even obsolete. All right, so those are the advantages. What about the disadvantages? The disadvantages are it truly is more time consuming because we have to look line item by line item, not just section by section. Also, in some areas where we have intangible inputs and or outputs, it may be a little more difficult to justify the specific incremental amount. So that has to be looked at very specifically. It does require more training than a traditional budgeting approach because most of us have grown up with and or used a traditional budgeting approach for many years. So it really is not anything that requires much in the way of training. The real benefit, the bottom line is, it really requires us to more efficiently and more effectively utilize our resources. Until next time, this is Daniel Fineman.